We are going to start with Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary was the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York, who later became King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. In 1930, Princess Elizabeth's sister, Princess Margaret Rose, was born. The family of four were said to be very close. Princess Elizabeth and her family had no idea she would one day become monarch when she was born in Mayfair in 1926. When her grandfather, King George V, died in 1936, Princess Elizabeth's quiet family life came to an end. His eldest son took over the throne as King Edward VIII, but he gave it up before the end of the year to marry Miss Wallis Simpson. Scandal! Upon King Edward VIII's abdication, Princess Elizabeth's father acceded to the throne as King George VI, and in May 1937 the two princesses attended their parents' coronation. During the Blitz of the 1940s, the young princesses were moved to Windsor Castle for their own safety. This is where they spent most of their war years. Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret were educated at home like many girls from wealthy families at that time. During a tour of Britannia Royal Naval College in 1939, a 13-year-old Princess Elizabeth of England was introduced to an 18-year-old cadet Philip by a teacher. Throughout the war years, the two began to exchange letters. Philip's relationship with Queen Elizabeth blossomed after he returned from the Pacific Theatre in 1946. It is presumed that he proposed that June on the grounds of Balmoral. Despite his stately title, there was originally some resistance to the marriage from the crown. Many thought Philip to be too brusque, too unpolished, too German, too Greek, too un-English to marry Princess Elizabeth. However, following Philip's renunciation of the Greek and Danish thrones, the couple wed in November of 1947. They spent a few years in Malta, where Philip was stationed. They had two children, Charles and Anne, and in 1952 King George was ill, and he grew worse, and eventually dying. He died at Sandringham on February 6, 1952, at just the young age of 56. Only 5 years after they were married, Philip told his wife that they were the most famous couple in the world. King George was interred at St George's Chapel. The King was originally interred in the Royal Vault and then transferred to the newly constructed King George VI Memorial Chapel on March 26, 1969. The Queen Mother went on to live over 40 years after the passing of King George. Having been suffering from a chest cold since Christmas 2001, Elizabeth died at the Royal Lodge in Windsor at 3:15 on the 30th of March 2002, aged 101. The Queen and Prince Philip lived through turbulent times which saw the monarchy rocked many times and had many people wondering whether the institution could survive. Prince Philip was by the Queen's side for all of this time. Prince Philip became very frail in the last few years of his life and was in and out of hospital a lot. With the Queen by his side, Philip died of old age on the morning of the 9th of April 2021 at Windsor Castle at the age of 99. He was the longest-serving royal consort in world history. The funeral took place on the 17th of April 2021 at St George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, and he was temporarily interred alongside 25 other coffins, including George III, in the vault inside St George's.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Palace has just issued this statement. It says the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon.
Other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, and Sovereign of the most noble Order of the Garter.